Well, hey, gang. I want to thank you for joining us today. This is our fourth of a four-part series. I'm Sandy McDonald, the Director of the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. And this four-part series has really been focusing on small business, but in relationship regarding purchasing. This has been an opportunity, and today is the four-part series for small businesses to have a better understanding of the relationship between purchasing and small business, but more importantly, purchasing as it relates to you as a small business, understanding their role, understanding their forms, understanding their requirements, understanding how you have access to them pre-bid and during a bid, and today, understanding the steps of completing a bid application for submittal. So if you missed the other three, I do believe, and staff can correct me, they're posted somewhere on our website. This one will eventually be posted on our website, and I want to say that with emphasis. This one will eventually be posted on our website. And the reason that's key is we're going to take you through the process. A purchasing representative will take you through the process today. But there is a piece of this today that's a part of a video. Don't want to bore you, but the information is substantive and valuable and real. We're saying that because you want to still get our commentary, but it will also be posted for future reference so that you will really understand and always have a tool to come back to when you're trying to pay attention or when you're trying to understand how to submit a bid. So again, as you know, I'm the Director of the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. We try to do all things small business. I often remind all of our small businesses, the county procures goods, materials, and services and products from vendors across the country, not just across the state. But the county has a small business program through an ordinance, Business Opportunity Act, that's also attached or aligned to the procurement code. So the county might not always have a small business program, but the county will always be buying goods, materials, and services. Now, don't take that first sentence and run with it. The county's not looking to get rid of the small business program. We're here to stay. But I'm just reminding you how important it is for you as a small business. As much as you know about our small business program, you need to know just as much about how to navigate and understand the process of procurement. So with that, this is really going to be about you and procurement today. I'm getting ready to end my little 2 cents. I will come back at the end to give you some more information about us, the program, and some upcoming events. And I might come in during the presentation to just put extra emphasis on things that I want to make sure that you're really paying attention to. But right now, with that, how many of y'all saw the Super Bowl and saw the halftime show? All right, that's just to get you thinking. But I'm going to turn you over to Miss Stacy-Ann Brown, who's going to walk you through what we're dabbling in today with purchasing. And this is serious, guys. I know I'm always clowning, but this is serious. You don't want to miss a bid for failure to answer a question or to completely give all the information or not submitting the backup documentation or not sending it in timely or not having all your other qualifiers. You want to make sure that the opportunities, especially as a small business, this program affords you, you want to make sure, you know, I'm always talking about program, process, people. You want to make sure in the process, you get the procurement part right. This is not the time to be forgetting a zero or having a decimal in the wrong place or not signing a document. You want to get the procurement right. So with that, Ms. Brown, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Sandy, can you hear me well?
I can hear you well. I can hear you well. And I'm glad you said that. So everyone, please turn up the volume on your headphones or your equipment, because we want to make sure not only that you can hear Ms. Brown, but you can certainly hear, because again, a part of the presentation today will be a video. And we want to make sure you can capture what's being said on the video.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, and I hope I am able to exceed your expectations regardless of how you felt about that Super Bowl performance. I see that we have a lot of attendees today, and I'm very excited because this demonstrates to Broward County that we, although we are very anxious to do bid business with you, I see that you're equally as anxious. So that's a great indication that we will be getting some new bidders to our Broward County procurement. So for today's seminar, I will be discussing how to submit an offer with Broward County. This may be a bid, a RFP, a RFQ, which is a request for proposal, request for quote. The information that I will be providing you today will definitely give you all the knowledge you'd need to submit an offer using Periscope, formerly known as BidSync, with Broward County. So can you go back one slide, please, Pamela? One more. So a few topics that we'll be addressing. Periscope, there's two ways that you can log into Periscope. So you might have an email notification or log into the system directly. We'll be reviewing the bid details, the forms and attachments that you'll see with every solicitation, how to actually submit your offer, addendums, and any summary that we have to address at the end of the meeting. And next slide, please. Okay. Before we start to get into the weeds of the training, please be aware the purpose of this training is to provide a general overview of the county's procurement process. Bidders, vendors, and subcontractors must review each solicitation for the specific requirements. So I'm just going to reiterate that point. This is strictly for demonstrational purposes. You must review each solicitation for their specific requirements. If you have not attended any of our prior webinars, you may not know this, but submitting an offer with Broward County is completely free using Periscope, formerly known as BidSync. So I'm just going to go through the two ways in which you can log in. You can either go to www.bidsync.com, and you may hear me refer to Periscope S2G as BidSync. It was formerly known as BidSync. So I'm speaking of the same platform if you hear me interchange, because in some places you'll see BidSync is still used, but the official new name is Periscope. So it's interchangeable throughout the training seminar. So you can log in directly by going to www.bidsync.com, and it will still carry you to their new page for their new name, Periscope. You may receive an email notification. So if you attended the prior webinars where we went into detail on your registration, also the commodity codes that are favorable to you and so forth, you'll be getting email notifications from BidSync at this point. So you can either get the email notification or log in directly. And if you're logging in directly, you can search for bids, and we went through that on prior webinar as well. Can you go to the next page, please, Pamela? So if you're logging in directly using www.bidsync.com, this page, what you're seeing now is what will populate for you. And once you click sign in is at the top right-hand corner of the screen. You'll see supplier right here highlighted by the arrow. It's going to ask you to enter your email address and click next. So do not go to the key that says agency. That's for internal use for, say, for example, Broward County, who would be the agency for purposes of this webinar. You will be entering your login information by using the supplier icon here right on the bottom left. Just enter your email address because you should have registered already at this point, and click next, and it will prompt you. Next slide, please. If you received an email notification, so you've done your registration, you've chosen your commodity codes, you're getting your email notifications. At this point, a bid or solicitation has been sent to your email and you're interested. So I'm giving you a sample here on this page of what that email will look like. And for purposes of this webinar, I am going to be submitting an offer on a solicitation within the title, How to Submit an Offer with Broward County. So I got the email notification, and to the left of your screen is what that email notification will look like. And it gives you all the information to just select a link that will carry you to a login page. And the login page is similar to what you're seeing on the right-hand side, where you enter your email address, your password, and it will carry you directly to the solicitation. Next page, please. Once you have logged in using the email notification or whichever your preference is, you'll be prompted to the bid opportunity detail page. And I'm going to highlight a few tabs that for me, I think should be of importance to you. So once you're prompted to this page, you'll see the first tab, which will give you your bid end date. So this date is very important. This is saying your bid, your offer has to be submitted by that deadline. So keep that in mind. This is your summary page of all the details of the solicitation. And this is where you first see if there's any interest in this solicitation for you to submit a bid. So the first tab is your bid end date. Further down to the left of the page where my mouse is, you'll see the agency. In this case, it's Broward County. The contact information that will give you the purchasing agent of records information as well. To the middle of the screen is the summary. So that is a snippet of the scope of work for the solicitation. So once you read the scope of work, and you'll be able to decipher if this is a solicitation you're interested in placing a bid. To the bottom right of the page, you'll see the milestones. And the milestones, you'll see the question and answer deadline. So if you have any specific questions to the solicitation, that's the deadline in which you can submit that question. And the bid end date is repeated as well. At the top right-hand corner of the page, you'll see original bid opportunity information. Once you select that link, it's going to carry you directly into where you'd be submitting your offer, and you'll be reviewing the entire bid package. So for this portion of this presentation, I'm going to jump into a video. I'm going to ask that you ensure your volume is high, and if it needs to be adjusted once the video starts, you can reduce the volume at that portion. But the video may be a little low for some of you, depending on the device that you're joining us with. So if it is, you can lower the volume. If it's not, please increase your volume all the way. And I'll be breaking in about every 10 minutes or so to see if there's any issues or you're able to see the video clearly. So I'm going to be jumping into a video now. It's half an hour. There's a lot of information that we are going to unravel through. And if you have any questions, just ensure to post it in the Q&A section of the seminar. Next slide, please. Now that I have reviewed the bid opportunity details page and I have established that I am interested in submitting an offer, I'm going to select See Original Bid Opportunity, and this page that I have on the screen will auto-populate. I'm just going to go through some details, and this is where you'd actually be submitting your offer as well. So the first thing you're going to see on this page is the bid number and the name of the solicitation. In this case, the name of my solicitation is How to Submit a Bid. It's going to tell you the time you have left to place your offer, the start time of the bid, so that was when the solicitation was advertised, the bid end date, so this is your deadline in which you must submit your offer, and also if a pre-bid conference is offered. In this case, there is, and it's an optional pre-bid conference. You have your bid packet page here, so tabulation, sorry. So you can just click on that, and it will generate an entire packet of the solicitation, which you can print and download and read as a separate document. So we have a few tabs going from left to right on the page, and I'll be going through the tabulations. However, just keep in mind the order of the tabulations is not necessarily how I recommend you review the solicitation. because a few of the tabulations may take precedence in your decision making and how you submit your offer. So just keep that in mind, but we will be going through the tabulations. That's imperative for you to submit your offer. Scrolling down a little more, the time start is repeated here. We have bid contact information. The bid contact information, here you'll find the purchasing agent of records information, who is in charge of the solicitation. So you have the purchasing agent, which in this case is myself, my title, my telephone number, and also my email address. The purchasing agent or the contact person is your first point person in which you should be communicating if you have any additional questions that are unclear in the solicitation itself, or by way of using the question and answer section as well, which this should be your first preference. And then if you are still not able to achieve much of an outcome from using the Q&A, you can also contact the agent. Then we'll go into the bid comments. We have the scope of work. The scope of work is a summary of the details of the work that is needed, so you can review to ensure that you're able to execute the job. For this solicitation, a site visit is strongly recommended for all new bidders. If you are new to the county and a site visitation is available to you, I do recommend that you take advantage of that. Goal participation, all solicitations will have this in the comments, whether a goal requirement is needed or not. You'd have to review each solicitation. Each solicitation varies. It's very important that you review the goal participation, and if there is one assigned to the solicitation, to ensure that you're able to meet that requirement. So for this specific solicitation, this is reserved for small business enterprises. I am a small business enterprise, so I'm going to continue to submit a bid. The solicitation also requires a license, and there's additional information on what license is required that I can find in the special instructions. So I know that it requires a license from the bid comments, and I'll go ahead and I'll review my special instructions to make sure that I do have the license and I am able to partake in the solicitation with the license that I have. There's also a bid allowance for the solicitation. A bid allowance I do not have to include in my pricing. So here is just telling me that there is a bid allowance that is included for permits, and this is specific to the solicitation, as I mentioned. However, you do not need to include that bid allowance amount in your prices at the end of your submittal of an offer. Periscope would automatically add that to your bid prices for you. So don't worry about the bid allowance amount and how you're going to price that out. The county already has done that for you. The solicitation also requires a bid guarantee, which normally comes by way of a bid bond, and it's normally 5% of your overall price. There are many ways you can submit your bid bond. You can submit it through surety, 2000, or you can hand submit it to our purchasing office, but the bid bond must be in office prior to the bid opening date. There's also a request for approved equal. So if there is a product or something specific to the specification and you believe that you are able to offer to the county a product of equal or greater value, we do have a form attached in the solicitation. You can fill out that form and put your request in by the due date, which will be stated on the form or in the bid comments. And if approved, you will be able to submit prices on your proposed product if approved. And if it is approved, it will be by way of an addendum. So you will be notified that your product was approved, and you can go ahead and submit prices based on based on your suggested product. So this is just telling you right here that the solicitation, you do have an opportunity to request for an approved equal. Basis of award is telling you how the county will be awarding this contract. So for this particular solicitation, we will be awarding, and for your bid to be considered responsible, you'd have to bid on all line items, and we will be awarding to the lowest bidder who is responsive and responsible. You will see this change from time to time. As I said, please read your solicitation Every solicitation has their basis of award may vary. It may be that you have to bid on all line items. It may be that you need to bid on specific groups. Just as an FYI, keep in mind the basis of award is something you should be reviewing in order to submit an offer and to know how you would be submitting that offer to the county. Then we have our question and answer highlights here. And this information is just how you should be submitting your questions by the deadline, and you should only be submitting any questions through our question and answer sections. The submittal, Broward County only accepts offers through Periscope and by no other means. So if you're submitting an offer, please use Periscope. Do not try to email or hand a hard copy over. It will not be accepted. We can only accept offers using Periscope. Here we also have the classification codes. So since you did receive a notification for this solicitation, chances are one of the classification codes which you have entered that your company is able to provide these services directly involved work related to this solicitation. So henceforth, you got a notification that there is a job that you may be interested in. So you can review the classifications that are specific to the job right here. We also have our contract duration. For this solicitation, it's a one-time purchase. However, we have different solicitations. It may be that there is for a term with renewal options. So you can just review the contract duration and ensure that your company is able to provide services based on the contract duration of the solicitation. Um, the prices here, prices that you are submitting for your services will will remain in effect for 120 days with the county from the time of the solicitation open date. So once the solicitation has been opened, whatever prices you submitted are going to be binding with the company for 120 days. Those are the prices that you have submitted. As I said before, the bid allowance, this solicitation does garner a bid allowance. And here in this note, it's just stating what that bid allowance amount will be. So you'll see that $5,000 added to your overall summary once your offer is submitted. And I'm just going to be scrolling up to the top now, and I'm moving over to another tab. And the next tab I suggest that you start to do your review is the So Documents Pamela, tab. If you're I still just wanted to interested,
Okay.
let's pause here go for a over to the second. Documents tab. Here in the
Okay.
Okay, so before we move on to the next tab, I just wanted to remind everyone, if you have a question, please post it in the Q&A section of the Zoom link. And we will be responding to these questions at the end of the presentation. Thank you. Documents tab, it may take a while to download the forms. Let's just give the system a moment. Okay. Sometimes Periscope does take a while, but it will get there. Okay, here we go. So for the Documents tab, as I said, this is a test environment. So I have already viewed and accepted my documents. But once you are submitting an offer, a new offer, this will not show the same for you. So you're going to see a page, and let me just bring this over to your viewing screen here, that looks a little like this. And it's going to say the items have not been viewed or they have not been accepted. And this is Periscope's way of protecting you, the bidder, and also the agency to make sure that whatever it is you're submitting an offer on, you are aware of all the requirements. So we have two options on this page in which we can review the documents. You can download the entire bid packet by clicking here, and the entire document would be downloaded as one file, and you can print and read at your leisure. And you can actually also with wet signature, you can review the documents and sign and upload. So we have two options. Or my recommended option is that you can select each document electronically and input the required information. So right now I just selected the vendor questionnaire. The vendor questionnaire is asking you specifics to your company. So you're going to review all the questions asked, and at the end of the page is going to ask you to re-enter the password in which you established with Periscope. And let me just go ahead and enter my password here. Then I'm going to select save. Once I select save and I go back to the main page, it's going to show me that my document has been accepted. So before it would say pending acceptance. Now I have reviewed the document. I have entered my password to to establish that I have reviewed the document and signed off that I have reviewed the document and entered all the required information and all the required fields. Once I enter my password, it's going to show accepted here. This may take a little while to show accepted because there is a lag in the system. It's not a great lag, but there is a lag. So don't think as soon as you sign and you go back into the Documents tab that it should show view or accepted. However, all the documents related to the solicitation has to be viewed and or accepted prior to you submitting an offer. So even if you were to download your packet and you were to manually sign the documents, review the documents and so forth, and you're going to upload the documents when you're inputting your offer, you still have to go into each file and individually enter your password to show that you have reviewed and have accepted the documents. If you do not view or accept the documents and you're attempting to place an offer and you go to the offer line item, you will be getting an error message that looks similar to this. And let me just get it up here for you. It's going to show you that documents have not been viewed, and it's going to list all the documents that needs to be viewed and signed off on before you can enter an offer on any of the lines for the solicitation. So that's just an FYI. Also, if you choose the option to review your bid packet by downloading the packet and having and printing and review at your leisure, just as an FYI, documents that are large files may not be included in the overall bid packet. However, if that document is a large file, you will see a comment in our details section that states this file, and it will be probably around this area, that the name of the file will not be included in your bid packet, and it has to be downloaded separately. So I'm just giving you that tidbit of information as an FYI. So if there's any packet that is not included in your overall, if there's any document, sorry, that is not included in your overall bid packet, is because chances are that file has been too large and there should be some details in the comment section that is referencing that that file has to be downloaded separately. Once you have reviewed all the documents, and I'm just going to point out some common offenders that you may find in our solicitations. The vendor questionnaire is a pretty staple form. Chances are you will see it in our solicitations. Special instructions, litigation history. So there's a few forms there that I would suggest you get acclimated with. Always review your forms. Things change at the county. Language may change. So please review each form, and it may be specific to each solicitation. So please review every form. And as I said before, you will not be able to submit an offer unless you indicate to Periscope that you have reviewed the form. You put in your password in doesn't mean that you have read the form, but I am strongly suggesting that you read each form. Now, the next tab, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to be reviewing the tabs in order. of how it's laid out at the top, but in order of precedence of what I think you should be reviewing when you want to submit an offer with the county. So you've reviewed your details, you've reviewed the documents. Now, is there a pre-bid conference or site visit that is available for this solicitation? In this case, yes. So we want to click on that to see what the details are. I highly recommend new bidders please attend any pre-bid or site visit that is offered. Pardon me. As an FYI, any questions asked at the pre-bid or site visit is not binding. So if you do have questions, please, when you get back to your location, post the questions in the Q&A section, and an answer will be forthcoming to you prior to the solicitation being closed. So please attend these pre-bids. There's a wealth of information that can be gained by a visual of the work that needs to be done as well, versus just looking at the documents. So please attend the site visits or pre-bid conference if it is available to you. If you have attended the pre-bid conference or site visit, or even just after reviewing the documents, the details, you have questions, here we are at the question and answer section. Please post all questions, and as I said before, Broward County will respond to you prior to the solicitation being opened. So now let's jump into our line items. So for this solicitation, the needed services is for a resurfacing of the tropical splash water park pool. Right now, the solicitation is showing that I have submitted an offer, and I have, because as I said, this is a test environment. So I wanted to see what it would look like from your perspective and make sure that my offer went through. And this is just indicating to you as well that you can go in and you can change your offer, do as many revisions as you would like prior to the bid opening. Do not wait until last minute to submit your offers. You don't have to. You can go in, you can change your offer as many times as possible prior to the bid opening, and every information that is entered into Periscope prior to the bid opening is confidential, so you don't need to worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to place or revise my offer in this case. But for you, once you're entering and you haven't submitted an offer yet, under the has offer field here column, it's going to say no instead of yes. So, but in this case, it's saying yes because I have attempted to submit an offer. So let me revise my offer. So I'm going to select place offer. Taking a while to come up, but it's going to come up. 1 second. Here we go. So there are a few fields that I'm going to discuss with you on this page. There's a product code. It's optional. I don't have a product code, so I'm not going to enter any information here. However, for my tropical splash water park pool resurfacing, I'm going to offer a 2-year warranty, because the county is requesting a warranty offer. So I'm going to I'm going to be submitting an offer for 2 years. And I wanted to extend an additional offer to the county, but I'm not including it in the 2-year warranty. So I have a note to the county for this specific line. So I'm going to add my note here. And my note is saying that I'm going to be offering an additional year after the 2 years at a rate of $1,000. So I'm giving the county some options here. Full disclaimer, this is not my field of expertise. If these prices are grotesquely low, please do not be offended. This is just a test demonstration. Another field here, we have our unit price field. So for this solicitation, the unit price and the quantity is lump Can sum. we do a quick pause here? Say, for example, if the quantity was for... So sorry about that. So I just wanted to do one final check-in before the video ends. I will not be disturbing the video anymore But if you have any questions, again, a reminder, please post those questions in the Q&A. If you're having any technical difficulties in hearing or so forth, you can let us know in the chat. But this will be my final break in the video. And if you have any questions, just post in the Q&A. Thank you. For each, and we had a unit of 50 instead of 1. The system will automatically do the calculations and generate the total price. So you don't have to worry about doing the calculations to get the total price. So your unit price is what you should be focusing on to make sure your unit price is correct. And if it's multiple units based on the unit, the system automatically will do the total price calculation for you. So once you have submitted an offer, and I see this solicitation has 2 lines, so I'm going to submit an offer for both lines. Here on the Tropical Splash Water Park Lessons Pool, I am offering a 5-year warranty. And just as a FYI, I'm entering year, but the system may just remove it once I enter because it assumes it's number of years here already, so I don't need to re-enter year. But I'm just showing you as a demonstration. If you enter the year, it may not show at the end of your offer because the system is already requesting that it's yours. So once I've entered my information, I'm going to be reviewing. And if you are if you say, for example, if you had a preference of downloading the entire bid packet and you didn't want to sign electronically, but you went in and entered your password and you viewed all the documents, accepted all the documents, but you wanted a wet signature to be uploaded in your overall packet. Here is where you'll go ahead and upload your your hard copy of the entire solicitation with the required forms that you have manually filled in. Also, if this is a request for a proposal and the request for a proposal does not warrant you to enter a price, this field is where you'll actually be submitting your proposal as well. So on the upload attachment, and it's very simple and self-explanatory, you click on upload attachment. You can choose from wherever you have your file stored, choose a file, submit, and it will close out. And here's where you'll have that option to upload your files if you are submitting any attachment at all, whether it be the bid packet or your proposal, or even if you wanted to just supply a copy of your bond. But as I said before, please be reminded, if you're using a hard copy bond and not going through Surety 2000, the bond must be delivered to our purchasing office prior to the bid solicitation date. You can, however, upload a copy of that bond if you feel more comfortable, just to show that, yes, you have the bond for the solicitation as well. But if it's a hard copy, it must be delivered prior to the solicitation date. So just a fun fact here, this is where you upload your documents and you will be selecting save. So we're saving these prices. This is prices that we want to offer. This is my revised prices. Immediately, Periscope is going to alert me that my prices have not been confirmed. And it's in red, and this is in red for a reason. And I'm saving the prices, but it's telling me the prices have not been confirmed. Wonderful. Okay, so once I'm submitting an offer, it must be a willful offer, and Periscope wants to make sure that I know I will be submitting an offer. So further down on the page, there is a tab that says review your response, and that is where you'll go and confirm that you are submitting the offer. So once you save, you're going to scroll down, and if you don't have any notes for a specific line item, Periscope gives you the option to submit a note for the solicitation as a whole. So if there's anything that you wanted to mention regarding your offer in reference to the solicitation, but not specific to a line, you can go ahead and enter that additional detail information here. In this case, I do not have any additional information. One more thing I wanted to mention. with this red asterisk here, it says fee waived. The fees are waived for all vendors who are interested in submitting an offer to Broward County. Broward County has accepted that responsibility for all the fees. So we do want our bidders to submit a bid, and you won't have to worry about any fees specific to Periscope. Broward County is responsible for that. So all bids are the fees will be waived for Periscope. So you can go ahead and select review your response. So we're going to review our response here. And again, it's showing me that my offer is not confirmed. So that is Periscope saying, hey, you have made changes, but your offer still has not been confirmed, as an FYI. So I'm scrolling down. And here it carries me to the bid allowance amount. And this statement is basically saying, if I'm an authorized agent for my company, I understand and agree that the bid allowance amount is for reimbursable costs as specified in the bid and will be included in my total bid offer amount. So again, Periscope is telling me I do not need to include the bid allowance amount in my solicitation. I should be an authorized agent, and I'm understanding that the bid allowance amount will be included in my overall bid. Also, scrolling further down, offer confirmation. I am asking Periscope to send me an email letting me know that my offer has been accepted. Now, many of you may be getting a lot of emails from Periscopes, and sometimes people will go and unsubscribe. Keep this in mind. If you decided to submit a solicitation and you wanted a confirmation, you have to go in to your email and change your settings if there's anything that will block the notification from Periscope. And this notification is not going to be coming to your email address as from BidSync or Periscope. It's going to say support. And I have a sample of that email that I'm going to be showing you as well. But the email will be coming from support. So I do want a confirmation because I want to make sure that my bid was submitted. And this is the email address I have on file. And I'm going to enter my password to indicate to Periscope that I am willingly submitting an offer for this solicitation. One moment while I enter my password here. And I am going to accept and confirm and submit my response. And let's see if okay. So on the top of the page, the first thing you're going to see is your offer has been received. Scroll down and it will show you all the lines that you submitted an offer on. And let me just go ahead and show you the email as well that you'll be receiving from Periscope. So this is a sample of the email that you'll see from Periscope. And it will just highlight the solicitation, the name of your company, the person who submitted the bid, and the lines in which you have submitted an offer on. So that's your additional confirmation that yes, indeed, you did submit an offer to Periscope. So I'm just going to go back and run through a few of the highlights on the page. As I mentioned earlier, once you receive a notification of the solicitation, you're going to see this brief summary page of the solicitation, and you will be selecting See Original Bid Opportunity, which will bring you to this page. And I wanted to go back in the solicitation itself. And I'm going to show you where you should be looking as well to make sure your offer has been accepted. Now, if you go back to the line item page, has offer, it should say yes for you at this point that your offer was submitted successfully. So as I said before, you have the detail page that will give you a snapshot of the highlights of the solicitation. Document page, all the forms that are required. Please, 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 I'm going to stress, please review all the forms. even if you are a repeat bidder with the county, policies, procedures, ordinance are updated. Please review, make sure that they're the changes you're aware of. So read those forms. Do not just enter your password, read the forms, and make sure you have a full understanding so you know exactly what the requirements are for the solicitation. Uh, Review your line items, review your basis of award, ensure that if you're supposed to be bidding on all line items, that there's a price offered on all line items. If there is a line item and you're not able to provide a price, indicate at the note that you have entered a price for $0.00 and just put a note on that line so so Broward County knows for sure that you are aware that the line exists and you are willingly not submitting a price for that line. So for that, I would suggest for you to use your note field and enter a note. For the Q&A section, this is my suggestion to you. Do not only use this section for questions which you have posted to the solicitation. Always review this section for questions that anyone has posted because the responses may be favorable to you as well and in your best interest. So please review every question that is posted for the solicitation if you're interested in submitting an offer, so you are very knowledgeable of the project that you'll be submitting an offer on. And of course, we have the vendor's ads that you can review at your own leisure if you're interested, and the plan holders list. For the plan holders list, you have to register for the plan holders list, so this may not be of too much of a use to you unless unless persons have actually registered to be on the plan holders list. I think I have reviewed all the information, and definitely I wish you happy bidding, and hopefully we will be seeing you participate more in Broward County solicitation, and good luck to you in bidding. Thank you. Thank you, Pamela. So I just wanted to reiterate, I did mention earlier about an addendum in regards to the request for approve equal. So an addendum is any change, whether that may be an addition, deletion, or just a replacement of a particular document to the solicitation. So if there is an addendum that is posted to a solicitation that you're interested in, please review that addendum, and you also have to accept the addendum in order to place an offer. Some questions from the Q&A may garner an addendum as well. So keep in mind that a question may garner an addendum. So review those question and answers and review all your addendums. And as I said before, if you submitted a request for approve equal, or anyone submitted a request for approve equal, whether that request for approve equal is accepted or denied, that will garner an addendum, and that will impact how you submit a bid, because that approve equal may be something that you could use, or if you are thinking about submitting a request for approve equal and it was denied, you know, you would not have to resubmit the same request. Next slide, please, Pamela. So in summary, a few things that I would like everyone to remember. All bids submitted through Periscope is secure and confidential. Please, 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 I'm going to reiterate, you do not have to wait until the bid opening date. No one will be able to access your information until the bid opens. So you can go in as many times as you'd like. You can make any revisions. If a subcontractor has submitted better prices, by all means, go in and change your prices. Especially if you're a new bidder, I highly recommend that you don't wait until last minute to submit the bid. So if you're having any technical difficulties, someone will be able to guide you and address you and walk you through your bid submission prior to the bid opening day. Once it's open, there's nothing we can do. And as I said before, you can revise as often as possible. Don't wait until last minute for submission. Review all the documents in detail, even if you have submitted prior and you're aware of, say, for example, a specific form, things change, the ordinance may change. So review the documents in details. Don't take for granted that you are aware of the documents. ensure you're aware of the solicitation deadline. So on the summary detail page, you have all those deadlines. And just as an FYI, the deadlines may change as well, but that will be by way of an addendum. So keep on the lookout for the addendums if there's any changes to the deadlines that may garner and that would garner an addendum. So keep abreast of your deadlines and any addendums posted. Periscope customer service is always available if you need any assistance in submitting your offer. And on the top of the offer page, right above all the tabulations, Periscope does offer how to place an offer link, helpful link. So if you have any issues while submitting your offer itself, you can actually click on that link, and it does give a step-by-step on how you should be submitting an offer as well. If that doesn't work for you, as I said before, there is their 1-800 number. Next slide, please, Pamela. Back to you, Sandy.
So it's back to me.
Yes.
So Stacy-Ann, Stacy, whose voice was that on the video?
Rihanna.
Stacy-Ann and Brianna, we want to thank you for that video. Guys, as I said in the beginning, hopefully you followed that through. I know it's not Hulu, it's not Sling TV, it's not, what's another one? It ain't Netflix. And 30 minutes, 25 minutes can be long, but we plan to post the video. If you can follow with Brianna's voice what was being described, that video is going to be placed on our website, so you can always come back to it as inclusive as the first 3 workshops. So again, as we get ready to go into any other Q&A that you guys might have, I want you to recognize we did this with purchasing, and it was really purchasing partnership to say, hey, we too want to make sure that your small businesses have what they need in going through these processes. So this was our first series with purchasing. We've done other workshops historically with purchasing. They're always at our small business conference, but this was the first series to make sure that, as I often describe program process people, our small businesses really understood the second part of the process, which is making sure for all the information we afford you, for all the access we grant you, for all the creating of opportunities we try to put in front of you, is for naught if you don't understand the procurement process relevant to responding to a bid. So that's what we tried to do today, to make sure that you had that devil in the detail about responding to a bid. So Pam, are there any Q&As that we have that we should answer? I need to answer. Stacy needs to answer. If Connie's around, she can answer. Any questions for us?
There are a couple, and I'm assuming you can hear it, 2 have to do with, and I think it's a really good thing to do, because Stacy covered a CBE reserve bid, a couple questions have come up saying, are you required to be an SBE or a certified firm to bid on a Broward project?
Good question. So at the beginning of the workshop today, I mentioned that, and again, I didn't mention it like we're going anywhere. Small business, we're not. County procures goods, materials, and services and products from vendors throughout the county, throughout the state, throughout the country. So to participate in county procurement, you do not need to be one of my SBEs, small business enterprise, CBEs, county business enterprise. You don't even need to be one of my federal DBEs, disadvantaged business enterprise. County, just by registering to be a vendor with Broward County, based on the NAICS codes and how you set up your scope of services, identifying who you are and what you do. Once you are registered to be a vendor, you will get your notification about bids and you can have at it. But because there is a small business program, there's an opportunity for what the county has committed to assure that at least 25% of what the county buys, we try to buy from certified small businesses. Then we have our SBE and our CBE. But to be clear, you don't need to be a certified small business to bid with Broward County's procurement. No.
Okay, two other good questions. One is, can we see all other bid prices?
Stacy,
Okay. No, you will not be able to see other bid prices prior to the bid opening date. Once the bid is open, then the prices are public information. But everything is confidential prior to that bid opening date. And I just wanted to also mention for anyone who missed the earlier part of the presentation, we did have our little play on the Super Bowl. So in fact, it's my best Rihanna voice, but it is me. Just in case you missed the first
oh my
portion of
goodness, and I
the
missed that too.
presentation.
So Stacy was Brianna, Rihanna was Stacy. So beautiful thing. She performed. This is all her. Great, and she did a great job. Going back to that question, and she gave an accurate answer. So based on the person asking, I'm gonna take you two ways. Of course, you can't see in advance. You can't see in advance, they keep it confidential, but we do have official bid openings. And at the time of the bid opening, all that information is available. Even if you miss the bid opening, sometimes later you can actually get that information. Small businesses, if you're paying attention today, keep in mind, I'll just use as an example, some of our janitorial contracts. If I'm in Government East, this building, for the most part, a contract that may have went out 5 years ago, 3-year contract, 2-year option. You know it's eventually going to go back out for bid. You know it's eventually going to go back out for bid. And though 5 years may have went by, for the most part, cleaning this building is going to be somewhat the same as it was 5 years ago. Yes, there might be some more details. But for a starting point, to familiarize yourself, to have an understanding if I'm a first-time bidder of what this looks like, yes, you want to check 5 years ago to try to gather information. So that's the thing that you need to do homework about. But again, and Stacy mentioned it, and we always say it, don't get it twisted. The official information about a bid is what you read and must respond to once a bid is announced on our bid platform. But is there always, for Broward County, mostly, is there always historical data about like or similar or past bids? Yes. Did you know, though it's thick, did you know that on the purchasing website, all open bids or all open or existing contracts are still listed? If we're in the process and if we're open and we're active, that access to that information is there. So yes, you got to do a little homework, a little research, but before a bid comes up, that's a part of a repeated bid or rotation bid or bid that has come out before that based on the expiration of an agreement, there's information. If you do your homework, you can find out some past bid totals or some past bid quotes. But again, that's where you got to do a little homework. So we just want to be clear, as purchasing is receiving bids during a process, that's confidential. When they do a bid opening, you want to be there. You want to get that data. You want to find out who the competitors were, who the competition was, what they actually bid, to familiarize yourself with them as well as with numbers, so that even if it's not about this bid, it's potentially the next bid. So that's what we always try to remind our small businesses. There's information, if you're willing to do a little homework, that can help prepare you for a future bid. Notice I said prepare you, because you do not want to take numbers from 5 years ago, and when a brand new bid comes out, act like you getting ready to use those numbers for your current bid. See, I'm not even going to act like some of you do that, because you don't. But that's a good guide in understanding what we're looking for. And for my newer businesses, it's not even about the dollar value. It's about some of the language. You want to know, based on my user agencies, are they talking about square foot or linear square foot? You want to have some idea how we're seeking to determine what scopes and services are being used by different agencies. Okay, I killed that horse. Keep it going.
So Daniel asks, how do I find opportunities for minority-owned businesses, Black, Hispanic, woman?
So let me help you. You don't find out opportunities for minority women, Black, Hispanic, because Broward County Small Business Program is race and gender neutral. So if you happen to be a minority or a woman, Black or Hispanic, and you end up getting certified, you have access to everything the county does based on the scope of service, not the ethnicity or the gender. To the earlier question, even if you're not certified as a small business, if you happen to be a minority or a woman or a historically underutilized or a veteran business, and you want to do business with Broward County, you can just bid without even getting certified with me. But if you are a woman or a minority business, then you want to know about the DBE program. The county does take money from the Department of Transportation. And when we touch money from the Department of Transportation, we then have to look at establishing goals that are for DBEs. And what's a DBE? A minority or a woman-owned business by 51% control or more. So whenever the county uses DOT, Department of Transportation money, and we primarily do so at the airport and also through our transit system. So our BCAD, Broward County Aviation Division, and the Broward County Transit Division, BCT, when they do some money and they touch DOT funds, we can establish DBE goals. And that's where the county does look at minority and women-owned businesses.
Thank you, Sandy. Fulia wants to know, could you just review the steps to just become a vendor for Broward County? So either one of you are well-versed to answer that.
Stacy is so well-versed.
Okay, so I'm not sure what the question is really asking. It's probably the first step will be to watch all the prior webinars. But the first thing you'll do is register with Periscope, and once the solicitations for Broward County is starting to generate in your inbox, then all you'd have to do is register with Periscope, and you can submit a bid with Broward County. So I'm not sure if you're referring to specifically registering with Broward County as a SBE or CBE, but just to submit a bid, anyone can submit a bid once you register with Periscope.
Thank you. And to be a registered vendor, guys, you can go to my website and it leads you to purchasing, which leads you to Periscope, or you can go to the purchasing website and it leads you to Periscope when you ask that question, how to become a vendor. And the thing that Stacy and her shop, as well as my shop, remind our small businesses, it is free to be a Broward County vendor. Let's be real clear. Periscope, formerly known as BidSync, does charge money. But if you want to know about Broward County bids, it's free. But even after you register free, Periscope is going to send you in 13 minutes a nice notification that for the low price of $799, they'll tell you about all the bids in Texas, California, and New Mexico. I'm not for or against Periscope. If you want to know about bids in California, Texas, and New Mexico, then buy them. But if you are serious about just knowing Broward County bids, you want to be a Broward County vendor, you want to have access to participate in Broward County competitive solicitations, you can register through Periscope for free, and you will be getting the notifications that Stacy just mentioned as bids in your areas of interest become available. So that's the part that our shop always reminds our small businesses. Yes, Periscope wants your pocketbook. Yes. But if you want to know ours, the county has already paid for it. We paid for it so primes and CBEs or primes and small business or anyone interested in becoming a vendor with Broward County, you can do it for free. Danberg?
Sir, so Julie, we touched on a little bit, but I want to go back to does every project request a CBE company to bid on? One GC told me the only reason they're not taking our bids is because we're not certified with the county yet. So that sort of has a different response than what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, it does. So let's be clear, and you can tell the GC that you heard it out of my mouth. General contractors are by discipline individuals with a state license in construction that traditionally bid on bids. Based on how the county assigns a bid, based on how our office recommend a goal, a GC might need to fulfill 40% with CBEs. The GC might be saying the other 60% of the work, I got that locked. I'm gonna do a little. My cousin's an electrician, he gonna do a little. My brother's a carpenter, he's gonna do a little. But I gotta meet that pesky 40% goal. So I'm only looking for CBEs because that 40% goal matched with the 60 me and my family gonna do, that's the 100%. So what do I tell my certified businesses? And I wanna be clear, the person asking the question might not be certified, but this helps you as well. Whenever there's a project and there's a certified small business goal, just keep in mind, whether you're certified or not, whoever wins or prior to winning, who's ever responding to that bid, they must commit to meeting my goal. So if I'm a GC and I'm trying to meet this goal and the goal is 40%, if me and my trusty partners who I always use are gonna do 60, then my only interest is finding certified firms to do 40. So that's the way I can explain the GC breakout. But any prime, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, highway, based on whatever the industry is, any prime who wins the contract, there's a percentage if we have a goal that they must use CBEs. And yes, minus whatever the goal is, 25, 30, 35, or 40, the rest they can use anybody. So if some GC is saying they'll only use you if you're certified, I'm giving you the tip. They're only saying that they'll use you if you're certified because they already got the non-certified to equal the remainder of the percentage. That's the scenario.
Thank you, Sandy. And another question for you. Can someone from the Office of Economic and Small Business review my bid before I submit it?
Oh, no, we can't. We would love to, but how dare us? No, we can't review your bids. We can't do for one company that we won't do for others. Again, we do workshops like this and others to make sure you understand the bid process. There's small businesses who actually do as business development bids, bidding, estimating. So they would love to use you as one of their clients to help you. But no, as a county, I can't review your bid because just like we share information, we disseminate information, you will never hear me and my staff advising, we can't advise. I can't review your bid and say, that's good. Then you submit your bid and you don't win, and then you're mad at the county or you want to sue us for the loss. But we do try to make sure you understand all the devil in the details and the nuances to completing a bid. But on the record, there are small businesses and other firms who love to help small businesses complete bids. Yep, that's a for-profit valuation. They want to get paid to do so. So again, I'm not sending you to any one of them, but I am telling you there's folks who do that for a living. Other than that, some of our workshops will help to make sure you know the devil in the detail of completing a bid or a proposal. And we do that as a workshop, but we could never review any one business's bid prior to them submitting.
Thank you. Nari asks, is there anything that makes a proposal stand out besides the numbers?
Stacy, you want to take that or you want me? Because I got a good answer for that one too.
So as I mentioned before, every solicitation is different. Some solicitations, the basis of award is to the lowest responsible bidder for, say, for example, a request for proposal is not price based. So we're not looking for the lowest price. So it really depends on the solicitation. Your focus more should be on that you're able to provide the services for the scope of work in the offer that you have submitted and that you have read and understand and submitted all the responsibility and responsive requirements.
Great.
So I would advise new bidders not to just submit a low price just to be the awardee. Because at the end of the day, you still have to be able to provide the services within that budget or the price that you submitted. And we are in business of making sure that your business is sustainable as well. So we don't want you to just to submit a low price just to win, and then you're belly up in the middle of the work.
Great answer. My short version of that, which I loved her answer. Guys, you want to stand out in the bid? First of all, be responsive and responsible. Do not give them reasons to throw yours out. Be responsive and responsible. And then, as she mentioned, make sure you're submitting a quote that you can live with. This is business. Don't lowball. Don't think the other guy go lowball, so you want to be a lower ball. You need to be responsive and responsible, and you need to submit a number that will work for you. But if you're responsive and responsible, yes, we got to be fiduciarily responsible. And in those hard bids, for the most part, the county doesn't go to the lowest bid. They go to the lowest responsive and responsible bid. So make sure your acts together. RFPs, folks, you got a chance to shine. But I always tell people about RFPs and presentations, getting in front of selection committees. Don't come telling them F, G, H, I, and K when the request was asking for A, B, C, D, and E. Businesses, and especially some of my small businesses, you got a habit in responding to RFPs, telling folks what you want to tell them, and you're not answering what's asked. First and foremost, always answer what's asked exactly. Then you add on the icing and the extra, but never give the icing and the extra, and you never responded to what they were asking. So RFPs are different. It does allow you a chance to show your work, show your past, explain your complications, explain how you can deliver this better than someone else. But on the bid side, you need to first and foremost be responsive and responsible to everything being asked, and you need to always submit a number that you can live with, because it is going to be competitive at the end, and it is going to end up, for the most part, being the most responsive and responsible lowest bidder. But it's not just low for somebody who wasn't responsible or responsible.
Okay. King Cable asks, in the event of an inflation emergency, are there any steps in place regarding payment changes?
Is that one for me, Sandy?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to reiterate, every solicitation is different. On some of the more recent solicitations, you will see that a lot of them do have a escalation/de-escalation clause that addresses that issue, but every solicitation is different. Make sure you go through the requirements and the T's and C's of that solicitation to see if there's a clause there that will be able to give you some wiggle room if there's any inflationary changes. And as I said, it's a price escalation/de-escalation clause.
And as a small business, if you're normally attached through the subcontracting opportunity, that's why we tell all of our small businesses, just like primes are reaching out to you based on a solicitation that they reviewed that also has a small business goal that they want to commit to. That's why we tell small businesses, follow the solicitations that are in your industry, so you can read the information in the solicitation, and if it speaks to any form of an escalation. Because at the end of the day, as the secondary or the subcontractor, yep, it is trust, but it's trust but verify. If at the end of the day, the prices are going crazy, we done did COVID. Coming out of COVID, we had a chip shortage. After the chip shortage, we had inventory. After inventory, we now got inflation. We get it. But if the agreement and the solicitation doesn't allow it, it's not happening. If the solicitation is speaking to it, then that's a different story. So even as the sub and you're not the prime, you need to be aware of that. I'm not saying that primes won't fully disclose everything, but I am saying they might not disclose the things you don't ask about. We always want our small businesses to be informed. Program, process, people.
And Sandy, even if you're a sub, you do actually have access to the documents as well. So even as a subcontractor, I definitely advise for you to do your own review and not just depend on the prime to be forthcoming with all the information and the requirements.
So true, so true. Thank you for that.
And I just wanted to note the county is not in business to put anyone out of business. So we're always looking out for our vendors' best interests as well as the county's best interests. So if there's any great inflationary changes on existing contracts, you can actually put a request in, and the county will always do a review process as well. But as I said, read the solicitation. Read the solicitation.
Thank you, Stacy. Okay, Fulia wants to know, they were certified by Jacksonville DOT as a DBE. So does Broward County accept the certification?
You were certified by FDOT in Jacksonville. You are certified as a DBE for this entire state. You don't need to do nothing again. You want to do some work down our way? Then at the end of the day, you got a right to respond to our DBE bids. If we ever need to get updated information, we'll get that from you. Remember, the DBE is a federal program. You're certified in one state, you're certified throughout the entire state. If you go to another state, that other state, if you have interest, can ask you for a copy of your previous certification application or your current certificate saying you're certified, or even ask you for your last site visit if there was one. When that new state gets that information, if they review it and everything is still in place, you're certified in a new state without having to do a new application. The federal program has reciprocity throughout the country. So as a DBE, if you're on this call today and you were certified up in Jacksonville, if there's a DBE opportunity down here in Palm Beach, Orlando, Broward, or Miami, you can respond to those bids as a DBE in Florida.
Adrian wants to know, where do we find the historical data? And I think there she's referring to, or he is referring to, previous bid, pricing, openings, that kind of thing.
So was it workshop 2 or 3 when the purchasing rep walked us through that about how to get some information on past bids?
It was in one for sure. I think the second one, it was probably included as well. So 1 and 2 would have that information. It's on our Broward County purchasing website, and it will have, I think it's open contracts. It's a hyperlink at the bottom of the page. You can just click on that and it will give you all the open contracts. So that gives you what is the current and some historical data on pricing for any contract.
Excellent, thank you. Ronald Laporte wants to know, is this info available? We can answer that. Is this info available in the public library? And I'm going to say to Ronald just to type in that it's available through broward.org, which is also the library system, but no, you would need to go to our websites and purchasing websites, specifically not in the library. Would you find this specific information about Periscope or about bidding?
Yeah, and I love the libraries, but guys, on this one, us in purchasing, we're better than the library in this realm. Library has more volume to stuff, but when it comes to purchasing, you don't want the library, you want purchasing. When it comes to small business, you don't want the library, you want us. And our websites are up, they're active, and I'll give you a better example. For the things we've been talking about that you might need to look for, even as we're going through this workshop, hopefully you're paying attention. Vanetta Williams, who's also a part of the team with Pam, she's been sticking up what you need and where you need to go as they've been asked. So we have your information. We have it readily available. You just want to familiarize yourselves with our links. If you are a small business, including primes, I'm not excluding you, but especially small businesses, you want to make sure you're also getting my newsletter every Wednesday night, because that gives you hot tips and information about bids, upcoming bids, opportunities, programs, workshops, information that helps the small businesses grow their opportunities. Prior to a bid, we try to share as much as we can legally and above the board, but at the end of the day, we tell you where to look. So you definitely want to check out our websites. Thanks, Vanetta. Again, I see you got purchases link and you got our office link.
All right. Does Broward accept the Florida? That was me, by the way. Does Florida accept the Florida
Oh, I'm
SBE?
sorry. Thank you, Pam.
It's okay. Does Broward accept the Florida SBE CBE certification? In other words, is there reciprocity?
No, there isn't. And theirs actually have a totally different meaning than ours. So just like Miami's small business program for the government side has a totally different meaning than mine, as does Palm Beach, as does Orlando. So no, the Florida SBE program is different than my SBE program.
If a GCE themselves are a CBE, do they still have to get a 40% CBE contractor, or can the whole requirement be satisfied by that?
Based on the project, if a GC, and I have GCs who are CBEs, and at the end of the day, the goal for a project is 40% CBE. As long as the GC is performing the 40% work. So let's be crystal clear. We do certification as an opportunity to participate in county procurement. We have programming guidelines that afford small businesses goals to be met by the primes, and we even reserve some things at times specifically for our CBEs. But within all of our program, the work as identified as a goal for CBE must be completed by a CBE. So if the GC prime also happens to be a CBE, he could count the 40% work as long as he's doing the actual work. He can't say, since I'm a CBE and a part of the CBE goal is electrical work, I'm going to hire an electrical contractor who's not a CBE, but because he's working under me and I am a CBE, it counts. Useful function is another part of our certification that goes with projects. So if I am a GC and my specialty happened to be carpentry, and there's a 40% goal and 20% of the work is carpentry, and if I'm going to do the work, see, I get the count for that 20%. I still get to use my brothers and cousins to do the other remaining 60%, but that remaining other 20% still needs to be fulfilled by a CBE or multiple CBEs.
All right. Someone, Nahum Jean Louis is asking if we could please go over the county certification process, to which I thought we could submit and discuss other webinars that cover that more thoroughly.
Our certification process. Well, the first thing we want you to do, because we don't really want to take the time for this workshop, but on our website again, there's not only the link for certification, there's an actual video that will walk you through exactly what you need to get certified. It even tells you about all the backup documentation. So not only is the application online that you can read and see exactly what you need to get certified, but after reading the application, I tell people, watch the video. If you read the application and watch the video, then I want you to go back to the application and begin to complete it. The areas that still cost you pain or questions or concerns, write those down, call us. Because see, that's easier. We only got 2 or 3 questions you might have. We get to answer those for you. But the way in which, on the record, we now have the certification application written, but more importantly, the way that we have mirrored it with a video, I am truly confident. And right now, I think our numbers are running something like 94% of the people who read the application, then watch the video, they're submitting it themselves. They don't have any other questions because it's all spelled out. But it's okay. If you do have questions, you can still contact us. But there will be other workshops this year about getting certified, how to complete a certification application. There's actually a Get Certified workshop that'll be a part of the conference. That if you read the application, if you saw the video, and if you got all your backup documentation, you can schedule an appointment at our Broward and Beyond conference, and you can come into the room with all of your backup documentation. And one of my staff will walk you through the process right then on the spot. You can leave that day 95% certified. Only thing I got to do after that is make sure your business or your office is what it is. So that's another thing that we're adding. We want to have an expedient process. We've always done technical assistance. You will often see on our calendar how to do your certification application. We do those from time to time, but we have really tried to oversimplify the application. And we've now even added a video. And we really believe if you have the opportunity to read the application, then watch the video, you can go back and connect the dots. But it's okay. If you can't, you can still call us. And if you really think you got your act together and you want to come to our conference and we have a Get Certified room, you bring all your documents, we can take care of you that day in about 45 minutes and you'll be 95% done. And really, about the only thing we need to do is do the site visit to your location.
Sandy, we've got two more questions. One is a very quick answer. If my company does a good job for Broward County, can I still have that contract for life?
Oh, we love you, but no, we don't do contracts for life. This is a competitive opportunity. It's taxpayers' money, so it'll always be going back out for bid. But you could get a good evaluation. Your evaluation can play into how someone sees you in the future. But just on the record, Broward County government, we don't do contracts for life. But thank you for the good job, though.
All right, and the last question is being answered by one of our by Wendell, one of our purchasing agents that's online. So with that, we're going to open up our poll and give people a minute to just log in. And Sandy, with that, I'm going to go to the next slide and let you talk
So
about
guys,
Career
do our
Source
customer
Broward.
service. Please do our customer service satisfaction survey. We need you to do that. I am going to work with my team because I want to change some of this survey because I want to get some more bite information out of you guys. But we need this. This helps us to determine not only how good we're doing, we know purchasing's doing great, but we want to know what else we can do better to service you. But here's one of my first commercials. If you are a business, especially a small business, I need to make sure that my small businesses know that on behalf of DOL, Department of Labor, on behalf of Career Source Florida, and not here in Broward, Career Source Broward, you are our partner from workforce development to identifying and finding employees, inclusive of training dollars, inclusive of potential of offsetting salaries to your employees. You need to know what Career Source Broward offers. So I'm going into this year telling every business that I run across, for the things we can tell you about purchasing, the things we can tell you about small business, the things we can talk about goals, the things we can introduce you to in terms of projects, opportunities, prime contractors. At the end of the day, if you are a business in Broward, you want to know what Career Source Broward has to offer because there's different funding resources. On the grant side, now I'm not talking about loans. There's different ways to offset some of your training costs, some of your employee costs. There's different ways to get interns if your business is acceptable to interns. There's way to get summer youth employment. There's ways just to have a better understanding of how in the Florida marketplace, you could potentially find an employee. Career Source Broward is Broward County's workforce development organization. And I got to strongly emphasize that this year because many folks didn't know. Based on Workforce Investment Act, WIA, and based on other legislation that have come from Congress within career force development or career development, there's opportunities for businesses to have seated training, seated employment services, and transitional activities for your employees. You want to meet Career Source Broward. So if you haven't, or if you haven't in the last 5 to 6 years, schedule an appointment just to find out within all of the convoluted, and it is complex, things they have to offer, what do they have for your individual business specifically? And that's why we just can't say it's a cookie cutter. Based on who you are and what you're trying to do, they can work a formula out to see what you're eligible for. And I'm just encouraging businesses, tap the resource, Career Source Broward. Danberg, next slide. Upcoming workshops, guys. Friday, March 10th, DBE Business Opportunity. We're going to be aligning with our partner, Broward County Transit and Aviation, and we're going to tell you about the next 3 to 5 years, what kind of projects they're talking about, they're looking at, some of the projects, what type of goals we might be setting, but more importantly, when I'm talking program process people, this is the beginning of our DBEs, dotting I's, crossing T's, getting ready for future bids. I often tell our small businesses, if the first time you hear about a bid is when the bid comes out, you're probably late. Yes, the bid portal and the official bid date is the official document and the official guide for you for any bid. But folks, if you understand the county's budget process, if you understand the county's capital program process, if you follow us every October in our contracting opportunities meeting, you will know agencies come and tell you in October what projects they're looking to do for the next year to 2 years. That's how you find out about things that will eventually land into the bid portal. So March 10th, that's a workshop for DBEs. And on March 22nd, you're certified now what? Because that's the biggest part. We do a lot to get you certified. But when you're certified, I don't want you just sitting at home waiting for that computer, sitting at home waiting for that bid. Certified now what is the things that I believe a small business needs to know in order to prepare themselves for bids. Know this program, know the process, know the people you need to meet, prepare for future bids off of past information, off of active bid information or active contract information that's on the purchasing website. Prepare yourself to meet prime contractors who potentially might be bidders so that they know you when it's time to find the CBE. Certified Now What is our program of explaining to you what you need to do to prepare for future bids so that you can be competitive. We never, guys, promise that by getting certified, you're going to win a bid. I can never make that promise. Purchasing can't make that promise. But what we can assure you, there's enough information. You have enough access to resources that you can put enough information together as you connect the dots that when you're ready for a bid, either you can respond or that when you know a project is going to require a small business, you can begin to identify who the potential prime is so you can introduce yourself way before other small businesses do. So that March 22nd workshop, that's me presenting Certified Now What.
And just a reminder, Sandy, that the 3 prior bidding workshops that we have done with purchasing and within 48 to 72 hours, this workshop are all available on our YouTube channel for viewing.
Great news. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Pam. Is there another slide or this is about it? There you go. So this is how you get that weekly newsletter, and it comes out tonight around 6:15. You can take your little phone, and I guess that QR code will or hook you up, or Broward County Commission meeting notifications, you want to subscribe to that. Because that's not new, but it's new to the point that you can get the agenda item and the backup for future agendas the same time, guys and girls. My county commission gets it. If you subscribe and stay connected, when we print and distribute to the county commission for their upcoming agenda, what items are for consideration based on past bids, recommended awards or whatever, you can get that information in advance. Folks used to say, you know, I was a part of that bid process. I know there was a ranking and I know there's a recommendation. I want to know when it's coming to the agenda. Bingo. That's when it's coming to the commission. You get to read that in advance because you might want to be in the audience that day. Or you might want to find out that, oops, it's not going to be a part of the team that you were on. But for my small businesses, I tell them that's when the work begins. If you're not a part of the team that's getting ready to be recommended at the agenda meeting, you then want to make sure you're in a position by the time that meeting is over, that you're still reaching out, congratulating that prime, and you're letting that prime know, I'm still here if you need somebody like me. You never know what happens during a contract. So again, that's how you stay connected to the Broward County Commission. And at the bottom, go back one, Pam, one more slide. So guys, you see it was at the bottom. You have our email access. We're a part of Twitter now, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We're trying to make sure we get you where you are. And it's not me. My staff got us doing all this, but I agree with them. I ain't tweeting and all that, but you can find our information, folks, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, along with our weekly newsletter. We want to stay connected to you just as much as we hope you want to stay connected to us. We want to share information with you. I get it. Everybody don't want to be on my Facebook page. You don't want to be on my website. So maybe you get your information from me on IG. Whatever it is, we just want to make sure you have access to the information. That's the key. So with that, I get to thank Stacy, Rihanna, for her presentation today. She did a great job. Thank Purchasing for this 4-part series. And we'll probably do it again. I don't know if we repeat all the other ones or do something new, but we're going to keep this going because you really do need to be connected to purchasing. And for all of our crew, thank you for always staying with us, sticking with us, following us, and share the information, guys. There's so much happening and so many opportunities. I got to tell you, I might have about 1,000 certified small businesses, but I don't have enough. I do not have enough small businesses when I'm talking about completing an 800-room, 4-diamond Omni Hotel, when I'm talking about a supervisor of election building, when I'm talking about building out at the port to welcome Disney, who's going to be here for the next 15 to 30 years, when I'm talking about surtax, MAP, Mobility Advancement Program, that the county in 28 of the 31 cities will all be spending money as we collect $355 million a year every year, and we got 26 more years to go, and it can only be spent for transportation operations, transportation services, infrastructure in the county and the 31 cities, and the future of rail. When I'm talking about building out a Terminal 5, when I'm talking about that new rail from the airport to the convention center and to the port, all those projects along with everything else purchasing has to buy for every county agency. We have opportunities, far more than just trades and vertical construction, accounting, finance, consulting, leadership development. If the county is buying it, we have a chance to establish a goal. So with that being said, share this information. Don't hoard it. Let your cousin know who got a business, that we're in business to work with small businesses. And you become more aggressive. We don't want to turn 1,000 certified firms into 2,000 just to have a good number. I need to make sure we have a good number and that they're active, that they're participating in procurement, and that they're winning. Because I'll close with this, and we're real about it. This whole program is for naught if small business isn't making money. My office is called the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. I know y'all think I love you. I like you. I like you. But the day job is to grow the economy. One way that 9 commissioners has decided, hey, Sandy, we can grow the economy if we make sure that at least 25% of what we buy from businesses in Broward. Why does that help grow the economy? Because somebody's going to get a contract. The person who gets the contract got to buy supplies, goods, and materials to do the job. And the person who gets the contract is going to have employees. And at some point, the employee is going to get paid. And if the small businesses in Broward, we're hoping some of the employees live in the county. So they pay rent, they pay mortgage, they go to the grocery store, they go to the gas station, they go to the movies, they go to Dunkin' Donuts. You see how just by the county who got to buy goods anyway, if we can spend some of the money with businesses in Broward, it stays in our economy and it grows our overall economy. Guys, that's why we're really doing it. Yes, the county likes you. Yes, the county loves you. But we also understand while you can make real money, we can also stabilize and grow our economy. So it's a win-win. So this is why we're here, and we need more businesses inclusive of small businesses to know it. So with that, thank you. See you soon. Hopefully you subscribe to the newsletter and you'll get some new news tonight about 6:15. Thank you, Miss Stacy-Ann Brown.
Thank you. Thank you for all who attended.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Dan Burke. Thanks, Vanetta.
You are welcome. Thank you all.